Welcome everybody to the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card. So today's pick a card is looking at what secret or secrets are about to be revealed to you. So these could be secrets within yourself that you are revealing to yourself consciously and unconsciously. They could be secrets that are being kept consciously or unconsciously from you. There's potentially two, or there may be just one that has both a conscious and an unconscious element. So in choosing the pile, what I've done here is I've got a particular deck called the Human Spirit Oracle, and we're using that to give us an idea of what you might be conscious of, an area that you might be conscious is somehow triggering a secret, either your own secret or somebody else's that needs to come to the surface. And then there's also another card, I don't know what it is from this deck, which is the unconscious element, which again might be something you're unconscious of within yourself, or even someone is unconscious, they're keeping a secret, or that it's just so off out of left field that you have no idea that this could be even in play. So we'll just see what we get to work out what type of secrets we're looking at. When we know that, we'll get a little bit more about all of that, sort of the detail about the secrets, how to deal with them, how other people are involved, that kind of thing, and how to balance it all and come out with a good outcome. So to choose, as I say, we've got these cards that were intuitively shuffled from the Human Spirit Oracle. So for pile number 1, we have All Aboard with number 7. For pile number 2, we have Bound for Boundaries with number 26. And for pile number 3, we have Am I Blue with number 2. So the numbers, the imagery, the concepts might draw to you. Certainly if you think something about being involved in something, ready to get going on something might be a secret. There could be a secret that you need to know to be able to do that. You could be drawn to pile 1. If you feel there's something about relationships, boundaries and those sort of issues, could be pile number 2. If you're not entirely sure whether this is a situation or that there is sort of something within you or within others that's emotional but is perhaps not clear, and you think a secret is around that could be uncovered, then maybe you'll be drawn to pile 3. And if you feel drawn to more than one pile, by all means, go to more than one pile. But when you know what reading or readings you want to go to, I've got the timestamps in the description box below, and I'll see you there. Welcome pile 1 to your reading. So we have the All Aboard, which is possibly what drew you to this particular reading, as an indication of something to do with an area of a secret that's about to be revealed that you're conscious of, or that you have a sense about, or that will be consciously revealed to you. We also have support system here for something that maybe is unconscious beneath this, or a different sort of secret that's revealed but more on an unconscious level, or more as a result of other secrets around. We've got some indications from astrology about the areas or the type of the nature of these secrets, and then we have what joins them, or how your energy joins them. So the thing that interests me is that both of these, both All Aboard and support system, talk about other people really. All Aboard is the sense of a group going on an adventure together. So this card, it has sort of someone who looks like they might be about to go on some very interesting, like, on a train. There appears to be a train coming, or train tracks coming out of their mind. There's also the sense of maybe being in a submarine, or train tracks going around. There's definitely a sense of momentum going in a particular direction, but not alone, I don't think. So there's a secret around the next step in a destination, and a destination that you are going to be involved with other people with. The unconscious energy with support system is the other aspect of other people. What is the support system you have around you for the journey, for connecting with other people, and maybe also for some of the impacts of dealing with other people. Because here in the center we have I am the key, opportunity, inner solutions, new beginnings. There's definitely something about the unconscious element, like where are your supports? Who are the right people to travel with? Who are the right people to journey with? So I think that there is a secret that's about to be revealed to you about who your right companions are. But you're very key to this. It's almost like you're the person who makes the decision on where the destination is and on who should be going along for the ride, literally. And it's got to do with communication and emotion. Mercury retrograde in this deck talks about reinvention. So there's certainly a sense here that part of this secret might be how you reinvent your connections and communication with others, recognizing how key you are to something. But Mercury retrograde is often where communication goes a little bit awry. And it's really interesting because we've got the train tracks here. I mean, a really good example of a Mercury retrograde energy would be when the timetables don't work. So it almost suggests to me that part of this secret of you understanding how key you are and how to move forward with an opportunity, particularly with other people, there's almost a sense here where you have to be ready and resourceful to deal with where plans don't go absolutely precisely to detail, and how you connect with other people who may be responding in a very emotional way. So this looks to me like the secret for you is that you're very good at being calm in a crisis. You're very good at coming up with alternative plans. You're probably used to doing it a lot with yourself, but now there's some secret in you and that will make you the support system for others, because I feel like this is a very unconscious energy, and it's the people around you that you normally would have thought was support for you and that kind of thing. They're not dealing very well with where the plans don't work. So I think this is a secret about you being able to rise above, not necessarily adversity. I just feel like irritations. I just feel like plans don't go right, timing doesn't go right. You know, it's sort of like you're trying to, it's almost like trying to herd cats, as they say. It's sort of like this sort of sense of everybody kind of wants to go on the destination, but you're not. You're the person who's meant to be kind of guiding it all, because everybody else is a bit flustered in whatever this situation is. So I think the secret that's being revealed is what a good leader you are, what a good person in a crisis, all of those sort of things. So it might be kind of a nice thing to know about yourself, but like the way that you learn it is by everything going to custard, and then you have to try and work out what to do with it. So this is a secret about you, I think. So we're going to get a little bit more with tarot about what the secret is. We're going to see how that affects you in the day-to-day, and then how the unconscious elements impact you. And then we'll just see how other people respond to all of this around you. So firstly, just a little bit more about your kind of understanding about what a logistical genius you are, but you find it out through things all running amok, a massive Mercury retrograde type of energy. So what we get is the Wheel of Fortune, Two of Cups reversed, Seven of Coins reversed, the High Priestess reversed, Page of Cups. Okay, yeah, this is you being the emotional epicenter for this. Because as I say, it's like, it's going to be a bit irritating, I have to say, because I think you're going to feel in the midst of all of this, you should have been able to rely on some other people and how to support, but it's all going to end up with you. Like, you're the person that people turn to in a crisis. Just going to happen. And it might have already started to happen to you, and I'm sorry to tell you, it's going to keep happening because you're really good at it. My mother used to always say to me now, always beware somebody who says you're really good at this, because it normally means they don't want to do it, they want you to do it. So there's that kind of energy here. But nevertheless, you are able to do it. And this is ultimately good fortune. Things, even if the timing sort of seems a little bit awry, it's a good fortune and the right timing for you to start to really understand who you are. And I think, interestingly enough, your very calm, logical, rational approach to things actually draws out a lot of the emotion and like kind of helps you work out how to move past that. Like, it looks like in the midst of this, everybody's investing in all the reasons why it didn't happen, and it's all very emotional. But you're able to almost kind of siphon that off with a calm, relaxed sort of way of looking at things that gets everybody back on track, moving forward. So it is literally a secret about you and your capacity to deal with other people, as I say, when things aren't working. And it's kind of a genius you have. So say that in itself can be irritating, but nevertheless it's there. So let's see how this is going to impact you in your day-to-day life. Like learning this about yourself. Knight of Cups, the Empress reversed, the Hermit reversed, the King of Swords, the Emperor reversed. Okay, number one, you are not going to allow this to turn you into some sort of a leader who has to come up with all the answers. You're not going to allow that. And you're not going to be someone who who decides to exploit that on any level either. Just because you're a natural organizer, a natural calm in a crisis, all of those sort of things. This does not go to your head, and it does not make you want to control other people. You have a very open heart with what happens with it, even if it's a bit irritating. But you're not going to be everybody's mother. Like, what you're providing is a rational, calm communication. Like, that's what you're doing. You're fixing up the lack of communication and things being out of whack by being very steady, very calm. You're not going to tell people what to do. You're going to help them support themselves, but you're not going to become their mother. So that's good. It's good because this sort of energy could go that way, but you're very clear on what you're doing. You're not going to play into the histrionics, and you're going to be using this to try and get people to be able to support themselves and deal with an issue in the way that you do. But you are very open-hearted about it. You know, you're not cold, but you're clear. So that's excellent. You're really going to learn how good you are at this. So let's see, how do the unconscious elements operate in this? Four of Wands, Seven of Cups reversed, Three of Swords, Nine of Coins. Okay, all right. You are going to be people's support system for a period of time. This is what it's saying. And it's going to first sort of show up, as I say, where something just goes to custard and you're the person who can deal with it. Or it's something that you maybe even do in a role in work or in a group, like a social group or a cause or something. Unconsciously, you draw people to you because you have that sense of almost family. You have that sense of, it's all aboard, we're all together. But you have this, it's bringing out a pragmatic approach so that people eventually can go off and do it on their own. Like, you're almost like a coach, actually, a coach or a mentor or something like that, but you're doing it in a group. It's not like a one-on-one thing. You do it with groups, but you do it to give people almost a template or a way to deal with these sort of things so they don't emotionally overreact. So it's like a system. It's like a system that you have. So the unconscious thing is that you draw people in unconsciously. They're drawn to you because they can see the pragmatism and they feel supported. Like, they feel you're the support system. But you're actually showing them how they have to do it for themselves so that you don't become their mother. So you're very clever, I have to say, pile one. So let's see how other people respond to this then. Four of Swords reversed. Temperance. King of Coins reversed. Okay, they break out of old patterns. They break out of things that are no longer working for them. Some of them are actually going to come out and become like you. There's going to be some little mini-me's, but I don't think that's a problem. But you definitely bring balance. Just like with support system here, she's so beautifully balanced. So it's a really interesting secret that's about to be revealed. It's like, as I say, you evolve groups of people in one form or another. And you evolve them by being able to deal with things all going wrong and turning it around. You break through old systems that no longer work for people and you bring them out of themselves in some way. Like, it almost feels like someone teaching somebody, teaching a group to be community organisers or something. It's like you teach people, you show people, but it's like something goes wrong, so they all turn to you and cling to you. But then you actually show them how to move through it. And as doing it, you create others who can actually pay it forward. That's the sort of energy. So this is a really interesting secret. I kind of expected, sort of something a little bit, like kind of psychologically challenging, but it really isn't. Beyond being a bit irritating at first, with everything's going to custard and you're the one who has to sort it out, but you are very clever in how you deal with it, and it's this process that lets you know that you are that clever. So that's interesting. So one of the things I wanted to look at with this was how your head, your heart, and your spirit operate within this secret, like what you're learning. So we want to go back to the blue dragonfly for your head. So when you're going through this process and you've started to understand the unconscious elements that you're bringing to consciousness so they can do what you do, and this is part of your genius, how is your head responding to this secret? Pile one. Wow, thirst for revenge, conspiracy, victim role, justice will be served, anger. Okay, so I do think at first it's irritating. I don't think it's quite as strong as that. That's a pretty strong card. But it is possible that there's something underneath this. It may be that the thing that's going wrong, you're really angry about, and so are they. So, it's not necessarily that the trains don't run on time. It could be something very big. As I said, that's might be why it's thinking community organising or something. There could be a very big sense of all aboard, we're on this cause, we're going to right a very big wrong, and then everything starts to go to custard. You have to support everybody during that, but in doing it, you actually show them how to do what you do. But it comes, like your mind wants to right a wrong. Or out of something that was adversity and would make you want revenge comes the open-heartedness and the clearance. So it may even be in some cases that you get to this point where it's like, I'm fed up with looking after everybody else. Like all aboard again, and then it's all going to go to custard, and then they're going to expect me to do everything. And you're actually going to push it much harder this time because it's like, no, I'm not going to do it anymore. There's quite a strong impetus towards shifting through this, operating with that. So if the head's a little bit angry or irritated at the very best, how's the heart operating? What kind of heart energy have you got when you're dealing with this? Rebellious heart, think for yourself. Honestly, but when I shouldn't laugh. Like, it would be really irritating. But you are going to be able to do this, and you're going to show people. And the heart, in fact, that's actually a very open-hearted thing to do, just as this is an open-hearted character. Like, think for yourself. Like, no, I'm not going to look after it all. I mean, I think you will. I think you just naturally will because you're so good at it. But I think in doing it, you're going to start to make others sort of like take their turn and learn about it and do it for themselves. You're showing people how you do it. You're the best thing you can do with your heart, because they're all over the shop emotionally, is show them how to have a balanced heart and move forward and think freely. Okay, so then what's your spirit doing? If your head's going, oh, here we go again, and your heart's going, think for yourself, everybody. What's your spirit saying? Atlantean soul. Your Atlantean soul brings service to humanity and an awareness of universal identity. Yeah, this is the thing that keeps you going back to your heart, even when it's irritating as can be, and you really just want people to hurry up and learn. They will learn though, because you have a lot of wisdom. You're bringing a lot of wisdom, and you know you're meant to do this. You know when it comes to it, you're the one who's going to get the trains to run on time. But what you're going to do is you're going to start to realise, instead of getting irritated by it, you can actually teach other people how to do it. You pass on the wisdom. So that's pretty powerful. Let's get, for each of these elements, again, just some astrology. So again, with this pretty irritated energy, I have to say, with that, what's the astrology energy we're talking about? Mercury and Saturn, yeah. You want a group of people around you to grow up, honestly. You want them to think for themselves, and you want them to grow up. So I think, and that's part of what you're going to communicate to people. So it's not really revenge, but you are at a point where they have to. And there's just something coming that's really going to bring this to the surface. That's why you kind of knew when you saw all aboard, you probably thought, oh, what's this? What's coming? Where am I going to be with other people again? What's going on? But you need to communicate maturity to people. That's what you're meant to do. Then with the heart energy, Sun and Uranus, yeah, to have them break through on their own path. Like, I do think many of you, as I say, you're so good in a crisis, you're so clever. A lot of people just hang around you because they figure you're, if I do what you do and they hang around with you, that's what it is to be able to manage things. You're pushing them further. You've got to the point where you go, no, I'm pushing you out of the nest. I'm not going to be your mum anymore. Like some of you might literally be. If you are parents with a child who's not moving out when they're in their 30s or something, it could be something like that too. Then when we look at the spirit side of this, the astrology around it, Moon, Saturn, yeah, because you bring in a lot of wisdom. And this is where it's around the emotion, because this is what you're actually getting. You're seeing that other people respond very emotionally to all the sort of maturity issues that you probably can, like, your mind is all over them. You're able to deal with it. It's just, okay, this is a problem, I solve it. You're actually starting to really see, your soul's starting to really see that you have to kind of help other people emotionally mature, because you're already there, but you're dealing with people who aren't. So, but as I say, you're the person to do it. So given that, let's just get you a couple of kind of like extra or closing messages and blessings that occur if you fully take on the promise, I think, of this, of moving past patterns that were irritating into patterns that are more evolutionary. So we're going to the Enchanted Forest for a couple of last messages for you. So firstly, remember who you are. You carry stardust in your bones. There you go with the Atlantean soul. Your ancestors' wisdom in your blood and the whole universe in your soul. Know yourself and nothing will bring you down. Yeah, this can't bring you down. You're too mature. But what you bring is quite unique. Still, I think you can actually give enough of it to others that they can stand on their own 2 feet. And spark of life. Don't sink into hopelessness and despair, for in you lives a spark of life that is undefeated and unbeatable. You can overcome everything your destiny depends upon. Yeah, you can. I just feel like this is sort of like, oh, here we go again. I just think you attract sort of emotionally needy sort of people, all that kind of thing. But I think this is like, if you remember who you are, you don't give in to the sort of like, tiredness energy of this, and you actually start to show people and teach people how to be a bit more like you, then you shift past this energy. So that's the secret. The secret is your secret. You are the key, as it said at the beginning. You pass that on and then you take that load off for yourself and you help others in the process. So I hope that resonates for you, Pile 1. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pile 2, to your reading. So you came to the reading with Bound for Boundaries, and that's the sort of like conscious secret, the kind of area of a secret that you kind of have a sense could be coming in, or that will be very conscious. The secret will become very conscious. Against the clock is either something that is unconscious underneath this, or it could be that it's sort of something that even while this becomes very obvious, this still stays a little bit unconscious in you or in others. And I think the interesting thing here is that this has to become conscious. And the only way it can become conscious is you taking some time out, and yet it feels like it's the exact opposite thing that's pushing you. So when we look at the conscious secret, there's something about the boundaries in your life. There's something about your own privacy. There's something around who you're communicating with and how, because we have the 3rd house here. Like for some of you, there may literally be someone who is inappropriately breaking boundaries around 3rd house matters. At its very worst, you could have someone who's harassing you or a stalker. Now, that's pretty big stuff. I'm not saying for most of you it will be, but there's something intrusive, and you'll become very, very aware that there's something intrusive. It's either somebody who just never lets up and is always wanting to contact you and gives you no time to rest. They're just incessant. They're very needy. Or there's someone who is constantly saying things that are breaking boundaries and being hurtful. But whatever it is, this is saying you are becoming very aware that you have to get some boundaries around how you communicate with others and who's communicating with you, and the methodologies and timing and so forth. The key to this is this card, and this is saying rest, take a break, pause, inaction, time out. You really have to go away and consider this, because this feels very intrusive. So if you've had a sense that somebody's, like kind of almost spying on you, it may not be as literal as that, but like someone is either really intrusive or really needy, it's necessary to take some time out, but it's also necessary to make a change as quickly as possible. And this is the kind of dynamic that you're dealing with here, because we have against the clock here. Like it's like, this could grow even more if you don't do something very quickly, if you don't end certain things and set new beginnings, or walk away entirely, depending upon how serious this is. But equally, to be able to see it with clarity, you need rest. So it just feels like there's an onslaught. Like it may not be a person, say you're in the public eye. This could be a balance you need about where do you have your privacy? Like your whole world somehow out there and everybody's got an opinion on it. And it's having an effect on you, and you need to rest, but equally it's like there are certain things you could do, and if you don't do them quickly, then everything's out. So the weird thing is you might have a secret too that you actually need to protect, and you have a certain amount of time to do it, but you need to take some time out even to realise that's the case. Whatever this is, that unconsciously that you're against the clock. Unconsciously, you know certain things have to change, end, and so forth. Very, very psychic connection to this. You know kind of instinctively. Pay attention to your intuition because it's really on point. A lot might be happening in sleep. So pay attention to dreams and messages coming through dreams. But there's something intrusive here. So something where you need better boundaries. So let's have a look at tarot. Let's get a little bit more information firstly about what this secret really is, the conscious secret. We're then going to have a look at how that impacts your day-to-day. Then we're going to look at how the unconscious is impacting it and how other people are impacting it. So a little bit more about what this really is, pile 2. 6 of coins reversed. 8 of coins reversed. The Fool reversed. The Chariot reversed. The 3 of coins. Okay. I think that most of you, there is something you do, whether it's creative or work or spiritual or artistic, that you need to collaborate with other people and you need to collaborate with equals. It's like you can't do everything on your own. So this is then like, how do you have the right boundaries and the right kind of things around this to make it work functionally without being exhausted? And you've kind of, you know this energy. So this is also why this is an insistence. You've seen this before. You're not naive about it. There's something that in you is instinctively saying, look at this again, stop, look at this again. Who am I collaborating with? Who am I connecting with? Because you have something that's very unique. Excuse me. Very unique. And it could be that could be stolen or taken advantage of in some way. Now, I'm not saying it's as serious as that, but there's something here where you have to reassess whether the people you're collaborating with are equals. Because otherwise, there's some sort of almost sense of like conscious or unconscious theft or energy drainage or neediness or whatever. And you've seen this before. This is why you know something has to shift. This is pretty significant, pile 2. It's important that you look at this. So let's see what the day-to-day impact of this is on you. 9 of Wands reversed. The Hanged Man reversed. 8 of Cups reversed. Death reversed. Wow. The Magician. Okay. You're very powerful. And you do know, you're very psychic, very powerful. So pay attention to that. This unconscious energy that something needs to shift, you're absolutely right about that. Don't doubt it. Don't kind of second guess it. Don't go trawling through all the messages or whatever. There's enough information, you know that you've got to put up some boundaries around this. The problem for you is that there's something about the other people around this is very sensitive. You have to be very careful what you do. And you're very different. There's something very different about the way you think and explain things and communicate. In fact, some of you may be like neurodivergent or something like that. You don't have to be, but there's sort of something where that you, just in that in itself, it's the spark of your genius, and it's also why you need time out. But I feel like you're surrounded by other people who like kind of constantly want the connection and communication. And what you're doing in your life, you don't want to give up on. It matters to you. But as I said, you've seen this before, but it's kind of like you're a little bit paralyzed. What do I do with this? You know, and the more that you're unconsciously feeling you're against the clock, the more you feel a bit paralyzed. That's why it's saying rest. It's almost like you counterintuitively have to not make a decision, not do anything, take some time out, and then let it happen, because you're getting caught in this feeling of there's an absolute loss, when in actual fact it doesn't necessarily have to be. It could just be, if you take it out, you can work out the right boundaries, but you're kind of like always sort of on the back foot in this energy for some reason. So your very difference could be the thing that actually helps you work out what to do, but you need to take the time out. So let's see how the unconscious elements are operating for you. Five of Coins. Judgment reversed. Yeah, they're stopping you make the decision. 8 of Wands reversed. The Hierophant. Okay. For some of you, these people that you're connecting with, they have some power or some control, some decision making. You feel that you're going to be judged in the wrong way. You know, you feel like you've got to do something quickly and achieve it. You feel like you've got to somehow be responsive at all times. And it's like the industry, the powers that be or whatever, they're the ones that are kind of both giving you this sort of sense of time is of the essence, you can't stop, you can't think about this, and they're kind of like overwhelming you as well. They make you feel alone. So it's sort of like you feel like it's an either or. Well, if I don't continue with this, do I have to be completely alone? I don't think you do, but I do think you need to take the time out to be able to work this out, because at the moment this energy, consciously or not, is taking advantage of you. You need to kind of, and they need you more than you need them. That's what I think you need to know. So let's see, how are other people responding to you? Nine of Coins, King of Coins reversed, Queen of Wands. They do see you. You're like a star. It's like you're a celebrity or something. What's different about you is very admired. It's not that these people necessarily mean harm, but I just think they're incredibly needy, incredibly impatient, incredibly all about themselves. Like, you could be a reader like this and have a lot of people who just want you to be there 24/7 around them, as an example, or a therapist or something like that. Or you could be a celebrity and a lot of people, want a piece of you. Some people will be okay and they're quite independent, so they can deal with it and they can meet you at your level. So some people are at your level. So it is saying that some are okay. It's the ones that aren't, the ones that are looking to you to prop them up in some way, that you need to be careful of. So that's the assessment you need to make. Who are the true equals who meet you with their own unique individual stuff, like all of that, or who bringing, resources to this, and so it's worth doing it, compared to those that are kind of draining your resources and energy and making you need to rest all the time. So let's see how your head, heart and spirit is responding to this secret as you really start to realise it. So what does your head think? Going back to the blue dragonfly deck for that. Final point, game over, conclusion, need to close, transmutation after the end. There are certain people, certain things, at the very least there needs to be a boundary up that stops the overload. But for some you may go, I actually have to walk away from some of this. Not everybody and not everything, but your mind knows. Your mind's kind of exhausted. It can't do a lot more at this point. What does your heart feel about this situation, Pile 2? Giving heart, develop self-love. Yeah, you need to start to give to yourself. Take time out. You're very giving, creatively, intellectually, spiritually, whatever it is. And people have fed off this. They don't have the right boundaries. Again, they don't have to be bad people, but you need to think about what you need to give to yourself. You're running on empty. Let's see how your spirit's operating. Detach, retreat from situations that are not in harmony with your soul, open to a greater love of self. Yeah, you've got to be a bit more selfish. And some may push back and try and say you're being selfish, but it's their own selfishness if that's the case. You need to replenish your batteries. Let's get you some astrology energy to help with each. So with your mind knowing certain things have to end, or boundaries at the very least need to be put up. Uranus, yeah. You can't keep doing this. Change has to happen. That's why it's against the clock. You do need to rest, but maybe pretty quick. It's almost like a micro sleep to be able to get to it. But change is inevitable. You can't stop it at this point. You have to. Otherwise you're going to burn out. The energy around your heart, whereas I say you're very generous. Saturn and Neptune, yeah, you need to get some boundaries around your sort of spiritual psychic connection. You're very psychic, actually. It's probably operating not just on general stuff of people flooding your inbox and ringing you up all the time. It's probably also like you're kind of empathic and you're overwhelmed by everybody else's energy. So you have to work out what you're going to do with that. You have to get a bit more disciplined. And for your spiritual self, we have Neptune and Pluto. Yeah, fundamental change. This is the endings and the beginnings of scorpionic energy. There's a big spiritual shift for you anyway that's happening, which has to do with the level of skill and ability you're at, the things that make you a bit of a star in other people's minds. You have to kind of find a way to reconnect with that and not to be held back by others, because the energy is coming through. It's very, very powerful. This is why you know unconsciously, like you can't muck around with this for much longer. You actually have to do something to free yourself up. So let's get you a couple of last pieces of advice from the Enchanted Forest. So this is just meant to be something else to kind of think about and consider when you're working out how to use this secret that's been revealed. So firstly, we have no pressure. When you want more, don't push yourself or others to get more. Give more of your pure, genuine self, and life will immediately and effortlessly manage this. Yeah, like I think this is like you've got to take the pressure off. This is what I'm saying. The first thing you have to do is rest. Even though you know there's huge change energy coming through, there's huge payoff really with your skills, abilities, whatever it is, and there will be some good people to be with, you've got to take the pressure off. You have to. Otherwise, as I say, you'll burn out. And don't hide. Dare to dream big. Remind yourself that everything is possible. Don't hide your talents and abilities, but use them to build your world. So this isn't about you running away altogether. I think this is the message. It's saying there's something very special about you. It's kind of glamorous and star-like and incredibly spiritually advanced, all that kind of thing. But it draws a lot of people and it draws a lot of energy that's draining you at the moment. You've got big things to do in your life and big things to achieve. And you're meant to be out in the world and seen. But because of that, you need to work out how to relieve the pressure that comes from people watching you. This is the thing. You're meant to be known. You're meant to be seen. You're meant to be famous. You're meant to be successful, whatever it might be. You're going to draw a lot of people. You probably already are. And it drains your batteries. So you really have to get those boundaries. And you've got to do this quickly because everything's speeding up, pile 2. So I don't mean any pressure on you, but you need to understand this is serious. So I hope that that's resonated for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share, I'd love to hear in the comments. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 3, to your reading. So you came to the reading with Am I Blue, which is a curious one for this sort of thing, like Am I Blue, a secret that's being revealed. And I think it is about you consciously coming to know, when are you unhappy and things are not working and you're feeling a bit lost with void, of course, moon, and when are you maybe melancholic? And when you're melancholic, there is something sort of beautiful and creative and healing in that energy. Because the unconscious thing here is the Midas touch. I think that there's something here, there's a secret in your melancholic energy where you touch that point, the healing energy of Chiron, it's sort of emotional energy that is going to make your fortune. And you may not be fully conscious of this. So what it makes me think of is, like sort of like musicians who kind of make amazing lyrics and music that sort of show those sort of emotions that touch people to such a deep degree that their own feeling lost in themselves and expressing that and exploring it is not only healing to others, but it makes money. And the key that connects the unconscious drive here, or the unconscious secret, and the conscious one is metamorphia, transformation, change skin, alchemical process, revolution of views. This is taking the kind of emotional journey and emotional feeling and going right into the heart of it in some kind of almost alchemical transformative way that allows you to not even be worried about the destination, just to go into the emotional journey that, as I say, has a profoundly healing effect on you and others that makes you money. Now, of course, the thing to always think about with Midas touch is that there was also a sting in the tail of Midas, in that everything he touched turned to gold, which meant, if he touched his daughter, she became gold and things like that too. So there's always a balance. So I think there's an internal balance here as well. The melancholic and the sad can sometimes be incredibly beautiful and productive. It can also be too much. Success and bounty can be wonderful, or it can be too much. The key thing is the connection of the emotional stuff to healing and the metamorphosis that allows it to happen. It's an alchemical process, whether it is something that we're looking at here that is creative, as I say, because I feel like music and novelists and movie directors and things like that who take a kind of an emotional palette that is explored, and out of it comes this golden thing. But it could also be a spiritual journey, going into the melancholic, into the sort of like the deeper emotional depths, and being prepared to be a bit lost in that, to metamorphosize and come out with something that is beautiful and healed. But either way, there's some sort of thing here where you are taking the most deep emotional energies. This is your secret. It's your secret to success, and metamorphosizing them into something that is healing and profitable in some way. So let's see what we get with tarot. We're going to ask a little bit more about what this secret is. We're then going to ask about how this secret helps you in your day-to-day. Then we're going to look at how the unconscious is particularly working with it and what other people respond. So firstly, just a bit more about this transformative, metamorphic, creative genius, really, that this is showing. Four of Cups, here you are, the melancholic. Queen of Coins reversed. Five of Wands reversed. The Tower reversed. Justice reversed. Okay, this is saying, because what this is really saying is that you don't yet know how your own emotional palette, and particularly that where you can get to that sad, melancholic space, how it's going to be your fortune. You haven't worked that out yet. That's unconscious. But this is showing you how the universe is sort of like pushing you towards it. Because it's saying that you don't even at this point connect material outcomes with your emotion. If anything, you don't even expect to be well off materially. But I think you're meant to be. So you've got a kind of like a need to internally come to terms with that. It's almost like there's a part of you that sees, like if you were creative, it's almost like, well, if I got the record contract or whatever, would I be selling out? There's almost something there where you've got to come to terms with an ambivalence about material outcomes. They're not mutually exclusive, because there's a kind of weird beauty in sitting in this emotionally resonant but still place. But there is a capacity to make this into something, and you can do it step by step. You just feel like, I think something either has not been fair, and so you've kind of backed away. You've gone, I don't want to be in the industry. I don't want to be doing the. I don't want to make money. It's sort of like, it's going to make me even unhappier. I wouldn't know how to cope in that industry, whatever it is. But this is saying you can do it step by step. But something that is not fair is actually what triggers you. It's almost as though, I'll take it to another level. Let's say you went for a job and you should have got it. You should have got it. And you should have been on your way, but for whatever reason you didn't. The boss's son got the job or something unjust. That triggers you to go into who you are and work out what it is that you want, so that the next time you go for a job, you get it. It's almost like you have to have real skin in the game, and you have to have felt what it felt not to have something to have it. And that's the thing that's going to trigger this for you. So let's have a look at how knowing this secret could help you in the day-to-day. Six of Wands reversed, Queen of Swords, Knight of Cups reversed, Seven of Coins, the Devil reversed. Yeah, you're freeing yourself from attitudes that you've had around money. Like, it's almost as though you have an inverse snobbery, which is, oh, well, I'm an artiste and therefore I'm not going to be, rich, because, I'd have to sell out and be commercial. But you don't actually have to. You've got something very special that would make it anyway. I was just using these as an examples, but there's something where this secret will liberate you from a sense that it's wrong to do something material. Like, it's actually showing you that you're meant to grow. You're meant to have a material outcome with this. And it kind of takes some of the romanticism out of it, because there's something almost romantic about the starving artist in a garret or something. But you know what? You're not meant to be starving and in a garret. You're just meant to be an artist, or whatever it is. And there's not getting something. It's saying it, not getting something, not getting recognised as the thing that makes you have the aha moment. So that you go into the depths of this emotional resonance to create the thing that's going to be gold, but you're not naive about it. And you've got your eye on the prize, and you can see that it's worth it. Wow. So, okay. How do the unconscious elements impact this? So the unconscious move towards real success. Six of Coins, Nine of Wands, King of Coins, the Moon. Boy, you're meant to make money from this. You are. You really are. Like for a start, once you really start to understand that unconscious thing and that they're not mutually exclusive, you're going to draw in benefactors just when you least expect it, just when it's been difficult. And you are meant to be Midas. Like King of Coins is like Midas. You're meant to do very well, but you're meant to do it by your emotional, spiritual, all the palette of the blue energy, of the melancholic energy, of the spiritual energy. And they're not mutually exclusive. They're not. And if this is a spiritual thing about you connecting into spiritual healing, you are meant to make money out of it. It's not meant to be something you do selflessly. So move past any unconscious blocks to money, I would say. So then, how do other people respond to you when you sort of realise this secret and you're working with it? Page of Swords, 10 of Coins reversed, 10 of Cups reversed. You will get some jealousy. Some people might go, oh, like you're all about the money now. But others will get it and will connect with you and will move forward with you. But I do think it suggests there could be some online or something like that kind of pushback or jealousy. I just think you have to be aware it doesn't matter. That's old stuff. You're moving away from that. But I think there's going to be some jealousy. You're going to profoundly transform. And you know what? It's their problem, not yours. Okay, so let's have a look at how various aspects of you operate with this secret. So we're going to start with the head using another blue dragonfly card. Then we're going to look at heart, and then we're going to look at spirit. So what does your head think about all of this? The Song of the Banshee, warning, pay attention, danger, red flag. You worry about it. As I say, you kind of you go, oh, no, that way, is the devil. That way is injustice. But it's not. I think the Banshee makes a hell of a lot of noise. Your head's getting in the way of this. It's your heart and your emotions and your spirituality that's going to be your fortune. I almost feel like saying, once you commit to this, get a manager or something, let them look after all the head stuff. Then when we look at the heart, worthy heart, you are enough, yeah. Oh, look, in the gold again. Your heart is it. Your heart is the epicenter of your fortune in one form or another. For some of you, it might even be that you marry into money or something like that, and there's nothing wrong with it because your heart will be there as well. Okay, spiritually. Shine. Allow nothing to dim the light within you. Allow yourself to shine. Yeah. All that golden energy. But you get there via the blue. There's something about that, the blue. And you know what's interesting about that? You put blue and yellow together and you get green, which is the heart chakra. So your heart is the thing. Your heart is the portal. Let's see what astrology energy we have for each aspect. So the astrology energy around your head, which I think gets a bit overheated and worries too much by the looks of things. Sun and Jupiter, you start to believe that you're meant to have the success and expand rather than it's all very dangerous. You are meant to be successful. You really are. Your heart energy astrologically. Venus, yeah, through the beauty of what you do. I do think most of you, there's something very artistic about this. I would get art is a very broad thing though, so it could come out in many ways. But there's something very much about what you love and what you care about. Your heart is the portal. Your heart is absolutely the portal. Things that are beautiful are the portal as well too. And then your soul's energy astrologically. Mercury and Saturn. This is you starting to control your mind. Your mind is the thing, you know. Your mind it doubts, it gets in the way, it thinks it's dangerous, it thinks, you have to sell out to be, successful, thinks you've got to have all your plans rather than being void of course, thinks that being unhappy is just being unhappy. But there is something about this that once you connect your heart, you get there. Your soul is now trying to get your mind to understand that you're allowed to have structure, you're allowed to have success. Your mind is what slowed you down. Your soul's trying to open you up again. Okay, That's why the secret is important. So to finish off, I'm just going to pull a couple of cards from the Enchanted Forest, and this is just for a couple of last messages for you to help you take this secret forward, pile 3. So firstly, instant manifestation, soul and mind working together. Soul and mind working together. Create a dream in the heart. Soul and mind working together, create a dream in the heart. Wow. You have nothing to lose. You carry the dream. Your intention is pure. Yeah, it's pure. Don't worry about all this. Be ready to receive. Wow, that's pretty strong message there for you. Don't mean to harp on at you here, but you know, it's a pretty strong message. Okay, so one other final message for you. No debate. You don't need to do anything to be more worthy. You are valuable regardless of your circumstances. You always have been and always will be. It's not up for debate. Yeah. Get all this, get the doubt out of there. Experience your emotions. They're beautiful. They're incredibly creative. They're incredibly resonant. They help you metamorphosize your life, and they bring in the fortune that you're meant to have. And there's nothing wrong with you having the fortune. You deserve it. So I hope that that resonates for you, because I think it's a pretty important message. I think you've gotten your own way, and there's such a beautiful thing that you could bring to the world, and you deserve to be rewarded for it. So I hope that that resonates for you, pile 3. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings.